Jack Harrer. What's up, my fellow drunken philosophers? Stu for Stulosophy, the drunken philosopher here. So my son-in-law, he plays in a band, and they booked their first live show here in Vegas just last night, or they just played in their first live venue just last night. And so we all went out to watch him. It was a lot of fun. But as we're there, there's all these people there watching, and I see this lady dancing by herself in the middle of the floor. We made eyes with each other. So I texted my wife and I was like, is it just me or is the girl that's dancing in the middle there like checking me out? And she watches her for a while and she's like, you should talk to her. She's like challenging me to go talk with her. So I'm like, all right, let's see. It's been over 20 years since I did any flirting at all. Let me shake off the dust and the rust. And so I grab a matchbook and I write down my email address on it and I put it in my pocket. And then I walked up to her and I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed watching you dance earlier. And then I went to grab my matchbook and hand it to her. And then she just looks at me and goes, okay. And I was like, that's all. See ya. And I was like, she just seemed really creeped out. And so I got shot down big time. 20 years. I'm a little rusty. So let me know what you think I did wrong in the comments down below. But before you do that, let's talk about why you cannot buy happiness with money. Oh man, should I take another hit? Just so you know, I'm not taking another hit because I feel bad about getting shot down so hard. But that's okay, because in 30 seconds, I'm not really going to give a shit about anything. So research seems to indicate that money can buy happiness, or at least it makes it a hell of a lot easier to be happy, right? Now, I kind of imagine that if I had lots of money, maybe that scenario would have gone a little bit differently. If I had pulled up in my nice convertible red Ferrari and walked in maybe dressed a little nicer, with a fresh $200 haircut on the top of my head, maybe a little plastic surgery to nicen me up a little bit, maybe things would have gone a little bit differently. Maybe I would have been found a little more attractive if it was obvious that I had lots and lots of money. Certainly having the attention that money brings, fulfilling this natural instinct to be heard and to be liked. We're social beings, so of course, money is going to help us do that. We desire things that help bring us joy and contentment, and money helps bring us that. And so perhaps if I had money, I'd be happier. But could I buy that happiness? I actually don't believe that money can buy happiness, despite what recent research has said. However, I am positive that in many cases, you can rent happiness. Now I know what you're saying, Stu, isn't that basically the same thing? No, it's not. For example, this house that I live in, we're renting it, which is the size that we wanted. It has the number of bedrooms that we wanted, but is within a price range that we can afford. We would have probably gotten a much nicer house if we were able to afford it. Now, does the niceness of my house affect my happiness? Yes, of course it does. I have many luxuries that bring me pleasure and joy and help me be content in my life. I have air conditioning. Just last week, the overnight low here was 88 degrees. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to take my son to his cross-country practice. It's already fucking almost 90 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if I could not afford air conditioning, that would certainly affect my happiness and contentment. But am I buying the comfort that I have right now? What happens when I stop paying my power bill? What happens when I stop paying rent? Well, my power gets shut off and I don't have air conditioning anymore, and my landlord comes over and kicks me out of the house. And suddenly I'm on the street where it's 110 degrees out, and then what do? Well, I go out and try to find a way to get money so I can continue to rent my happiness. Because if you're using money to get your happiness, what happens when you don't have money anymore? Well, the rental agreement ends. That's what. And so that's kind of my attitude. No, you cannot buy happiness. But Stu, research says. No, research says that you can rent happiness. Well, that's my take on it anyway. But nobody cares. We all want to know what it is that you think. So let us all know in the comments down below. And until next time, continue to drunkenly philosophy on, my fellow drunken philosophers.